It's officially list season, that magical time of the year when every music website on earth publishes the exact same opinions, just in a slightly different font. Not here. Although I've spent most of my time making videos looking back, today I'm going to take you through what new music I've been listening to this year. So stick around, because today we're going to discuss catfishing a Kraftwerk member, bowing to Bob Iger's marketing whims, and releasing a companion visual experience screened in cinemas. These are my top 20 albums of 2025. Last year, I shared a stat that honestly broke my brain. It was reported that one single day of 2024 contained more music releases than the entire year of 1989. In 2025, we're continuing that trend, casually living in a world where more music is uploaded in a single hour than most humans in history would hear in their entire lifetime. Thousands of songs every 60 minutes from bedrooms, basements, and billion-dollar studios. Some unknown talent, some AI slop, all competing to be heard at the exact same moment. With so much music dropping, cutting through the noise can be overwhelming. That's where I come in, your trusty, music-obsessed YouTube guy. And while I spent much of 2025 looking backward, it's also been a fantastic year for new sounds, and I've got plenty to share. If you're new here, my channel focuses on new wave, post-punk, and electronic music. So if you're expecting modern pop or metal, you won't find much of it here. But I promise there are some adjacent albums you'll want to check out. Before we begin, this right here is Yummy by the group James, my favorite album of 2024. They're still putting out top-tier records well into their 5th decade. If you're into Britpop, Manchester bands, or long-running 80s acts like The Cure and Depeche Mode, there's a lot of shared DNA here. Okay, let's start with a handful of honorable mentions. Arcade Fire, Pink Elephant. I reviewed this earlier in the year, and that video got a lot of attention, and I still stand by it. Even without the magic of their first 3 albums, to me, this more intimate Daniel Lanois-produced version of Arcade Fire remains one of the year's strongest rock records. This one is a gatefold. Comes with this crazy book, and it's clear and pink. Preoccupations, 3 at Ease. Preoccupations' latest is a bit front-loaded, but those first 3 tracks hit with the same ferocity and Joy Division meets Interpol energy of their best work. Inner Sleeve. And this one reminds me of a peacock. The Horrors, Nightlife. It was great to see the Horrors return after years away with their 6th album, heavier and more goth rock than before. It's a bit backloaded though, so don't skip those final 3 tracks, especially More Than Life. It's one of 2 records with a naked woman on the cover in my video today. This booklet, Inner Sleeve. Tron Ares. Personally, I wouldn't call this a new 9 Inch Nails album. It's a soundtrack marketed under a big name, thanks to Disney, clearly meant to rival Daft Punk's Tron Legacy score. The vocal tracks are strong, a few instrumentals land, but the more score-like moments never quite reach anywhere near the heights of The Fragile or Ghosts. Still, I enjoyed it. This one's a gatefold. Red and black. Insert. Poster. Second LP. Wolfgang Flür, Times. Wolfgang Flür's latest solo album hit synthpop gold on several tracks, with guests like Juan Atkins, Anthony Rother, and Peter Hook. And in one of the stranger side stories from this year, Flür even thought he'd collaborated with Daft Punk's Thomas Bangalter, until it turned out to be a Facebook imposter. I'll link that wild story below. Inner sleeve. Second LP. Now that we've covered those, I got my top shirt on. This is my top 20 records of 2025. At number 20, Sharon Van Etten and the Attachment Theory. This album was an early surprise in January, and one that a subscriber actually turned me on to. There are some really catchy synth pop and post-punk earwormy grooves mixed in with Sharon Van Etten's top-notch vocals, resulting in some truly anthemic moments.
Will you see me in the afterlife?
This one's a gatefold. Insert. Inner sleeve. Number 19, Swans, Birthing. NYC no-wave legend Swans return this year with what was billed as the last Big Sound Swans album. And what a way to go out. Like other recent classics from this group, such as To Be Kind and The Seer, this is a triple LP, 2-hour journey through industrial, psychedelic, experimental rock, and vast stretches of ambience. It definitely takes time to make sense of it all, and while there are a couple of moments I didn't care for, there are also some truly engaging grooves and surprises, including the fantastic ambience of closer Rope Away, which is very reminiscent of Fripp and Eno's work on Evening Star. This is a very heavy record, double gatefold, DVD, insert, poster, LP1, LP2, LP3. And number 18, Perfume Genius, Glory. The latest full-length release from Mike Hadrius is far shorter and more stripped back than the heights of Set Myself on Fire Immediately, but there are still some truly heartfelt, emotionally resonant, anthemic moments, rich with beauty and artfully crafted. Check out the wistful no front teeth and that crazy album cover. This one's a gatefold, insert, inner sleeve. At number 17, Nation of Language, Dance Called Memory. Brooklyn-based new wave revivalists Nation of Language are nothing if they are not consistent. Back with their 4th album in just 5 years. Whatever happened to those days when bands had a good record every year? Although I can't get over how much I'm Not Ready for the Change sounds like a dream pop shoegaze take on Adamant's Wonderful, I still think it's a great tune, as is Inept Apollo. These kids love their OMD.
How many miles ago, a dream that found.
Inner sleeve. Number 16, Sandwell District, End Beginnings. This one's rather bittersweet. End Beginnings is Sandwell District's first release of new original music since 2010's Feed Forward, and shows the dark, uncompromising techno collective continuing after the tragic death of their primary member Juan Mendez, aka Silent Servant. The remaining members come out clutch with a series of real bangers, including tracks Restless, Hidden, and the touching darkwave throb of closer The Silent Servant. Inner Sleeve. Second LP. And number 15, Blauen, Sick Elixir. Where to start with this bonkers trip of a record? This is the second full-length release from British electronic producer Blauen. Over 44 minutes, we get this relentless assault of industrial techno through these pitched and mutated vocals, chopped grooves, and harsh, nihilistic textures. This record sounds like a rave in hell, and I love it. Inner Sleeve. And number 14, Model, Pleasure for the Holy. And now for something more grounded in the sound of the 1980s. Toronto post-punk band Model released their first record in March of this year, and it's chock full of dark guitar riffs and keyboards paired with these deep baritone vocals. I started listening to this one while on vacation, and now it's forever linked with some of those destinations. If you're looking for some modern post-punk and goth-tinged synth sounds in the vein of Actors and other artifact artists, definitely check out the tracks In Your Eyes, Here on the Other Side, and Dangerous Girl, a song so nice, I remixed it twice.
She's a dangerous girl from a dangerous world. She's dangerous, so dangerous.
Naked Woman, Guys Looking Cool. At 13, we have Hillary Woods, Night Crew. I actually don't physically have this one yet. It was one of those Bandcamp releases that tend to drag for a couple months. Sacred Bones recording artist Hillary Woods' latest album is a mix of darkwave and folk and even a little Enya-esque. Influenced by aspects of Czech and early Italian cinema, this record was one of the year's surprise discoveries for me. It's an album that is like the musical equivalent of a warm blanket and fireplace on a cold winter night. For those upset that there hasn't been a fourth Portishead record or missing vintage period low, this record is the answer. At number 12, Viagra Boys, Viagra Boys. Swedish post-punk band Viagra Boys' latest release was my get up and go record this year. Whether it was my morning shower or grabbing groceries on the weekend, this record was always there to crack me up with its hilarious one-liners. Give this one just one playthrough. I'm sure by the end of it, you'll want to hit repeat. Inner Sleeve. At number 11, Mogwai, The Bad Fire. Another January classic, and for me, one of the most enjoyable Mogwai records in a while. I can't believe this is their 11th album. The post-rockers expand their palette here with a more cinematic effort, full of several detours. The last three tracks in particular are amazing, and I swear Hammer Room is Mogwai doing their best Boards of Canada impression. This one's a gatefold. First LP. Second LP. At number 10, Corinne, A Flame in the Dark. Here's some twee, cheerful, and upbeat synth pop for you. Corinne had my favorite record of 2023 with Tear, or is it Tear? And while this follow-up is maybe not as epic, it still slaps with the same addictive Cure, New Order sound. They've totally perfected the hooky bass hooks, or is it hooky hooks? While just a breezy 28 minutes, if you love the dark 80s, I guarantee you'll find a lot to sink your teeth into here. Inner Sleeve. Another pretty record. At number 9, Alison Goldfrapp, Flux. Another one that took me by surprise. I love me some Goldfrapp, but I wasn't expecting Alison's second solo effort to be so epic and addictive. On Flux, she works with producer Richard X, who has done remix work for countless big synth poppers. Not only are the songs on Flux up to some of Goldfrapp's best, but the production is so huge sounding. I am seriously impressed with the wide stereo field and incredible detail of this synth pop record. Put it on and see for yourself. This one is a gatefold, inner sleeve. At number 8, Oneohtrix Point Never, Tranquilizer. This recent drop from Daniel Lopatin is exactly the type of sound I come to Oneohtrix Point Never for. Over 15 tracks, Tranquilizer moves at breakneck, change the channel speed through an oral sound collage that you find yourself returning to discover new elements. Life World sounds like FSOL jamming with Boards of Canada, and Measuring Ruins is just chef's kiss vintage Bach vibes, but with Daniel's own flavor. This is up there for me with his earliest work and an instrumental tour de force I'll be returning to for a while yet. Here we have another gatefold, weird newsprint poster, inner sleeve, second LP. Number 7, Tom York, Mark Pritchard, Tall Tales. Certainly a collab that was meant to be, if there ever was one, considering Tom York's enduring love for electronic music and Mark Pritchard's history dating back to global communication. York had in fact contributed vocals on Pritchard's Under the Sun back in 2016. But Tall Tales captures these two veterans' combined strengths with cold, edgy, distant electronica, sometimes otherworldly, other times more straightforward. This Conversation Is Missing Your Voice features these upbeat rhythms, but its music and pitched vocal layers are eerily unsettling, while The Spirit is a more traditional ballad with its gorgeous strings. Honestly, if this track was released as Radiohead, it would have blown up for sure. It's sunny, uplifting, and heartfelt, and it should have gotten more attention in a year where we need songs like this to keep our spirits up. The album's changing moods evoke vivid imagery, suggesting that the project could benefit from a visual counterpart, and the duo actually released a visual experience to theaters on May the 8th, which I have yet to see, although I think it's all up on YouTube. I'll find it and link it below. Fancy Pants Edition. First LP. Second LP. And number 6, Astra, Chin Up, Buttercup. How do you overcome traumatic life moments? For Toronto-based Katie Astra Stelmanis, The answer was to pour that heartbreak into a concept record about breakups and perseverance. Taking inspiration from Madonna's Ray of Light, Stillmanis delivers some of the strongest synth-pop bangers of her career here. Blending club-ready tracks with art-pop flourishes, all elevated by her transfixing opera-trained vocals, songs like Amnesia and Fallen Clouds stand among her best. And Siren Song is a serious contender for synth-pop song of the decade. It's sweeping, uplifting, and anthemic. Another moment this year where I was unexpectedly reminded of Enya, and it feels destined for a film's soundtrack.
It's a desperate situation. All in on love.
More poster. Orange. Getting into the top 5. Pulp, more. I reviewed Pulp's Return back in June, where I said that it's the sound of a band that never stopped, a continuation blessed by the wisdom of the passage of time. Jarvis's musings sound as fresh as vintage Pulp, if not better, on singles like Got to Have Love and the opener Spike Island. But for me, it's these softer moments that are the most surprising here, like The Hymn of the North and A Sunset, which show Pulp's range. Not just nostalgic Britpop holdovers, but one of the UK's most vital and enduring groups.
It goes L-O-V-E.
Inner sleeve. And number 4, DJ Rum, Under Tangled Silence. No joke, I actually went to over 100 record stores this year trying to find a physical copy of this album. Pairing fluid, improvised piano with mind-bendingly complex drum programming, UK producer Felix Manuel, aka DJ Rum's new record, his first in 7 years, continues the momentum of his Meaning's Edge EP from last year with a mind-bending array of natural instruments juxtaposed against incredible electronics and time signatures galore. Opener A Tune for Us builds anticipation and sets a cinematic precedence for the following 10 tracks. Three Foxes Chasing Each Other is a 7-minute kitchen sink epic with marimba, jazz flourishes, and kaleidoscopic polyrhythms that I just can't do justice describing. You'll just have to hear it. Wax Cap starts with blistering piano runs and percussive flourishes before things transition to this old school warp IDM banger. I am so addicted to this track. This one's a gatefold. And when all was said and done, I actually found this one less than a kilometer away, basically down the street. Second LP. Number 3, Suede, Antidepressants. Where the hell did this come from? I mean, if you asked me in January if Pulp and Suede would have new records in 2025, let alone hit my top 5 of the year, it certainly wouldn't have been on my bingo card. This is my favorite rock record of the year. Across 11 tracks, Suede blend glam, post-punk, and gothic rock into banger after banger. I can't tell you how many times I've played the first 5 songs alone. Listening to the snarl of the title track, it's honestly mind-boggling that Brett Anderson is pushing 60. Sweet Kid is a beautiful reflection on adolescent awkwardness that I hope that some Gen Z listeners find some comfort in. Best of all, Dancing with the Europeans is an anthem for the ages. I cannot wait to hear this one live. Listening to this track, I hear a lot of Bowie, Mark Bolan, Bauhaus, your Arsenal era Morrissey, Benz era Radiohead. I'm getting goosebumps just describing it.
Dancing with the Europeans. I gotta get
Another gatefold. Number 2, Barker, Stochastic Drift. I've been singing the praises of Berlin-based producer Barker for some time now, and I'm glad the wider music press has finally caught up. This is only his second album following 2019's Utility and the brilliant Unfixed EP from 2023, but the range he achieves through floating, heavily ambient electronic compositions is astonishing. If you took John Hopkins and stripped away some of the modern classical tendencies and added a bit more 90s warp flavor, you get something resembling Stochastic Drift. Barker is laser focused on building tension without using kick drums, so when the drops do arrive, like on Reframing, they hit via intertwining arpeggios and deep restrained bass. But emotionally, it's the remembering self that completely broke me. I couldn't listen to this track for 6 months because it became inseparably linked to a life event. Now I can finally appreciate its understated Aphex level beauty. It's shoegaze, it's ambient, and you can play it on a piano and the beauty would still shine through. This is another one that I searched tirelessly for. Finally found it in London a few months back. Okay, so at number 1, my top album of 2025 is Bootblack's Paradise. If you follow this channel, you'll know that I love new wave, post-punk, Depeche Mode, New Order, The Cure. Well, if you're a fan of this type of thing and you're unfamiliar with Brooklyn-based post-punk band Bootblacks, you're welcome. In a year when we didn't get a new Actors record, this artifact recording artist delivers the goods. Across a breezy 9 tracks, we get a love letter to that big 80s reverb and hook-laden sound. Opener Forbidden Flames is a vintage post-punk classic. Joy Division rhythms, goth guitar hooks, the whole deal. Second track, Only You, which is a bit reminiscent of Shriekback, features an incredible sax solo and is an absolute dance floor monster. And honestly, why is no one playing this in clubs? I don't know about New York, LA, and the UK, but here in Toronto, no one I talk to seems to know this band. Wilderness, When You Want, Fade Away, these are all classics, and I've played them endlessly this year. You could argue that Paradise functions like a greatest hits collection since Bootblacks have been releasing these tracks steadily over the past 2 to 3 years. Sure, it's 80s revival rather than forward pushing, but the final result proves what happens when artists take their time and do it right. And it's my favorite album of 2025. Time for one more gatefold. So that's my list. I'll be linking Spotify and Apple Music playlists in the description so you can discover your next music obsession. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give it a thumbs up and a hype. And if you're new, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Were you familiar with all the records I covered? What were your favorite albums of 2025? You know, as an aging hipster who spends way too much time looking backward, I definitely can't hear everything, so let me know what I missed down below. And how do you guys discover new music? Would you like to see a video on modern music discovery on this channel? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for checking out my favorites from this crazy year. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in 2026.